Step 4. Arithmetic operations. In this step, we'll learn how to perform arithmetic operations in Python. Python can handle all kinds of mathematical operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. We'll also look at more advanced operations like modulus, finding the remainder, and floor division. By the end of this lesson, you'll know how to use Python to perform calculations using variables. Let's calculate the average miles driven per year, how many full service intervals have passed, and how many miles are left until the next service using the car mileage that we set up in step number 3. Let's put a comment in so we know which step we learned about the arithmetic operations. We already have the car mileage variable saved as 35,000. Let's create a variable for service interval. We'll set that equal to 5,000. Let's leave a comment so we know what this variable is tracking. Let's create a variable for years driven. And we'll say that this car has been driven for 5 years. We'll leave a comment describing this variable. Create a comment to know that this is the section we learned about division in Python. And we will calculate the average miles driven per year. We'll create a variable to track that. We'll call it miles per year. We'll set that equal to car mileage. And we will divide by years driven. And remember that you can press Tab to autocomplete once those variables show up. We want to print these results out, so we'll do a print statement. And we want to print out the value miles per year. Let's run this code. And we see that right here, this is our current mileage, and we are driving approximately 7,000 miles per year. We'll kill the terminal. Next, let's leave a comment that we're going to look at floor division. And we want to calculate full service intervals that have been completed. We will create a variable called full service intervals. And we're going to set this to car mileage. And then the floor division is 2 forward slashes, and then service interval. Let's print that out. And then the variable is full service intervals. Let's run the code. And we see that 7 full service intervals have been completed. We have an extra space right here, so I'm going to delete that. And let's change our mileage so that we can see if it changes the answer when we do a floor division. So I'm going to change this to 32,000, which won't go evenly divided by the service interval. And we'll run it. And we see that we get this returned as a 6. If I were to just do division and run it, I would get the value 6.4. So you can't do a 0.4 service interval, so that's why we would use this floor division. Change our mileage back to 35,000. Next, let's learn about the modulus. We'll leave a comment so we know this is where we learned about it. And we're going to calculate how many miles remain until the next service. Let's create a variable. We'll call it miles since last service. And we'll set that equal to car mileage. And then we'll use the percentage symbol, which is modulus in Python. And then do service interval. We'll now want to print out the result. Right here, it's giving me two options for the variable. If I use the down arrow, I can select the second one, which is the value that I want. And if I save that and I run it, we can see that there are 0 miles since last service. Before we run this, we want to change our mileage again. So let's change our mileage to be 34,234. If I run the code now, we can see that the miles since last service, we've gone 4,234 miles since the last service.